Hello, my sweet summer children. It has been an absolute chore being the number one fan of Daemon Targaryen. It's easy to come to the conclusion that Daemon is bad. Bad Daemon bad. But actually understanding the depths of a character, the development, the background, you would easily understand that not only is Daemon one of the most interesting characters in 100 years of Targaryen history, he's also the anti-hero of this story. You know the saying, great men can do evil things and evil men can do great things? Well, depending on what side of the war you're on, he's one or the other. I personally hate the sentiment that women who root for Daemon are attracted to men they want to fix and all the dumb rhetoric that's propagated throughout the fandom. Like women can't reach intellectual conclusions without defaulting to some faint of heart, emotional, primordial idea. Please get out of my face. Also, I would like to say I am well aware of all the things Daemon has done, and I don't care. Daemon Targaryen is no angel. This is not a Disney movie. If you think that Daemon is some Edward Cullen and Rhaenyra's Bella and they fell in love, if we're talking Twilight, if we are talking vampires, if you want to compare Daemon to a vampire, compare him to Lestat. But since we're not talking vampires, let's talk Westeros. If I were to compare Daemon to any character in Game of Thrones, it would be one of the Lannister bros. Can you guess which one? You're probably gonna say Jaime, and you'd be half right, almost right.
There are no men like me. Only me.
They do have a lot of similarities. Jaime Lannister is by most accounts a bad man. The Kingslayer. He killed his king. Knife to the back. The king he swore to protect. And it's only later that we find out why he did it. The Mad King was about to blow the city to pieces like Cersei would do the Sept of Baelor years later. And when we meet Jaime, he's willing to throw Bran from a window, unaliving a kid, to keep the fact that he's been banging his sister under wraps. This same guy saves Brienne from a bear and keeps his vows to Lady Stark. Jaime, as fool as he is, has one motivation: love, which is admirable, till you find out he has 3 kids by his sister. But Jaime's motivation is love, and his story is also one of redemption. So while Daemon and Jaime have much in common, Daemon's story is not one of love and redemption. Daemon's motivations are much like Tyrion's. Tyrion Lannisters, whose motivation is revenge. If Tyrion and Jaime were one person, that would be the perfect Daemon. But Daemon is most like Tyrion. And I'm not talking show Tyrion here. This is book Tyrion. And in the books right now, Tyrion is in Essos, has never met Daenerys. Tyrion's motivations for why he does things is revenge. He's not moved by money, power, family. His motivations are revenge. We meet Tyrion. He's the family disappointment. We like him. He's funny. He's smart. He's helpful. He seems to have some kind of a moral compass. A raggedy one, but he has one. He seems to be like the only Lannister that gives a shit about anything other than other Lannisters. Tyrion's relationship with Tywin is strained and hateful. Tyrion does everything to be accepted by Tywin, but no matter what he does, it would never be enough. Tyrion saved the city. Without Tyrion, King's Landing would have fell to Stannis Baratheon during the Battle of the Blackwater. Was Tyrion awarded or acknowledged? No. Did it change any of his father's opinions of him? No. So he spends his time in brothels, in his cups, drinking, all while filling whatever role or duty his father requires of him. But Tyrion does have a soft spot for Jaime. There was very little that Jaime took serious. Tyrion knew that about his brother and forgave it. During all the terrible long years of his childhood, only Jaime had ever shown him the smallest measure of affection or respect. And for that, Tyrion was willing to forgive him most anything. This relationship dynamic is also a lot like the relationship between Daemon and Viserys. And it's not one-sided. Daemon and Viserys fought. Daemon pushed every button he could of Viserys's. But they always forgave one another, and the Sons of the Dragon were always reunited. You may be wondering why I say Tyrion's story is one of revenge. And I say that because his victims are those he presumes to have done him harm. Tyrion kills Tywin. And that was cool because we didn't like Tywin. But then he kills Shay. And Tyrion killing Shay was cold-blooded murder. I don't care what you say. And right now he's in Essos fantasizing how he's going to get his revenge on Cersei. What's the quote he used to say? I will hurt you for this. I don't know how yet, but give me time. A day will come where you think yourself safe and happy, and suddenly your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth, and you'll know the debt is paid. Daemon's story is also one of revenge. Not just for Viserys, not just for his house, but for his blood. Daemon is a true Targaryen. He knows what he is, and he's proud of it. He embraces it. He's a Targaryen. His family's sigil is the three-headed dragon. His words are fire and blood. He fully realizes that he's the blood of old Valyria, the conquerors. And y'all expect him to be in the streets singing to the small folk like Barristan's tales of Rhaegar Targaryen. No, he's the dragon.
Gives a fuck what some lord thinks. You are the dragon. Your word is truth and law.
He can be cruel. He can be manipulative. He can be self-centered. He's cocky. He has anger issues and a godplex. Daemon can also be charming and loving, protective, funny, motivated. He's a gray character, equal parts villain and hero. Daemon wants to restore House Targaryen to its former glory at any cost, and he wants revenge on the Hightowers and every traitor lord that supports the Greens. Y'all can say what you want. Daemon loved his brother. He loved Viserys. He raised an army in the Riverlands during the Great Council at Harrenhal to fight for Viserys' claim when he was just 16 years old. And all through his years, he wanted Viserys' approval more than anything. And when he couldn't get it, he acted out.
Only ever tried to send me away to the Vale, to the City Watch, anywhere but by your...
Sir Otto Hightower poisoned the ears of anyone that would listen, that Daemon wanted power, Daemon wanted the throne, Daemon wanted to be king, and if he were ever to be king, he would turn the Red Keep to a whorehouse. Daemon's real beef is with Otto Hightower. He knows exactly what Sir Otto is, and if you don't, let me tell you.
I've spoken the truth. I see Otto Hightower for what he is.
So Otto Hightower by no means wanted Daemon to succeed Viserys, which is why Otto was relentless at having Rhaenyra named heir. Now Otto will tell you the reason for this is because Daemon would be Maegor the Cruel come again. At least that's what Otto told his brother, the Lord of House Hightower. But actually, Otto didn't want Daemon to become king. Otto didn't want Daemon anywhere near the king because Otto would never be able to control Daemon. The old town influence would be gone in King's Landing. Otto would never even have a place in Daemon's court and council. Otto's head would probably have been on a spike as soon as Daemon was crowned. But even if Daemon was forgiving, Otto would go from hand of the king back to second son of whoever from Old Town, basically no power. From the second most powerful man in the realm to nothing. Otto stopped at nothing to destroy the relationship between Daemon and Viserys. Not because Otto thought Daemon was bad for Viserys. No, it was because he wanted to control Viserys, and Daemon was a wild card. He was a factor he could never control. Daemon excelled at every dauntless task they gave him. He was master of coin and master of laws, but Otto decided he wanted him removed altogether from the council, even though by every right he should have been hand of the king. If not him, then Rhaenyra should have been hand of the king, not Otto. When Otto wanted Daemon removed from the small council, he was ordered to command the City Watch. When they made him commander of the City Watch, it was like the state of the Night's Watch. The City Watch was run down, raggedy, no uniformity. Daemon came in and gave the City Watch a new name, the Gold Cloaks. Cloaked them all in gold, gave them all real armor, real swords. He made them feel like they were a part of something great. And when he built it up so much, it became too powerful, and Otto got scared, and Otto convinced Viserys to make him do something else. Like, I don't know. Go far away to the Vale and be a husband to the lady that you hate. And this was only to please Otto. But he did his duty, just like Tyrion did. Drunk and in brothels, but the duty's going to get done. Matter of fact, under Daemon's watch, crime in the city dropped to almost non-existence. While Otto was plotting on Daemon and planning to marry his daughter to Viserys, Daemon was in the Stepstones securing the kingdom. Now, you may think the Stepstones has no consequence to King's Landing because King's Landing sure did act like it, but the trading lanes are how goods get into Westeros. With the help of Corlys Velaryon, Daemon secured those shipping lanes. In the show, when Viserys offers to help Daemon, Daemon whips the boy that brought him the letter. But in the books, this whipping happens because of another letter. The letter is the announcement that Viserys is to wed Alicent Hightower. Prince Daemon reportedly whipped the serving man who brought the news to him within an inch of his life. And this visceral, violent reaction to this news isn't because Viserys is taking a new bride and he's going to have more kids and Daemon's going to be pushed further down the line. It's because the new bride is Otto's daughter. Otto has now joined their houses in blood, and not because it was for the good of the realm, but for his own ends, which Daemon has specifically made clear. Viserys just can't see it or willfully denies it. But Daemon is right. Viserys is weak. Otto forced Viserys' hand with Daemon, forced his hand with naming Rhaenyra heir, planted his daughter in the king's quarters while he was grieving, counseled his king that it was okay to marry his daughter over Lannisters Velaryon. Huge mistake.
It's an absurdity.
Otto has made Daemon's life miserable. Daemon and Viserys lost both of their parents and only had each other, but Otto ruined that. He did everything he could to come between them. Daemon wants revenge on Otto, and by extension, Otto's family. But Daemon was right. Viserys was a weak king. He was a people pleaser. He was easily manipulated. He only ever asserted himself over situations that involved Daemon and Rhaenyra. Viserys was such a weak king. It should have been seen as an omen. That he claimed Balerion rode him once and Balerion died. Balerion was like, no, enough of this shit. I think based on season 1 and the previews that we have seen so far for season 2 is that Daemon feels Rhaenyra is a lot like Viserys. She is not willing to do what needs to be done to win the Game of Thrones. And Rhaenyra is much like Daenerys in this way, where they fight with their hands tied behind their back because they want to do the right thing. They take these things into consideration that others would not. They have a moral compass. In the Game of Thrones, Daenerys is counseled against using her dragons and against unleashing her armies. In the books, she tries her hands at politics and marine and chains her dragons into the Great Pyramid. None of this shit works out for her. But she doesn't want to be a butcher. And Rhaenyra is a lot like that. But Dario would say, you're either butchers or you're meat. Daenerys and Rhaenyra, they are blood of the dragon. But there are still lines they are not willing to cross. Daemon is the opposite. He knows the power he wields, and he's not afraid to use it. Because he understands the game that's being played. The Game of Thrones.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
The Game of Thrones is not for the weak of heart or stomach. Robert Baratheon had to step over the corpses of Targaryen children wrapped in Lannister cloaks to sit his ass on that Iron Throne. Tywin had Robb Stark slaughtered at the Red Wedding. This isn't Monopoly or Uno, bitch. You want Daemon to be like Honorable Ned Stark? He's dead. Executed at the Sept of Baelor. You want Daemon to be like Jon Snow? He was killed too. You want him to be like Renly Baratheon? Also dead. This game has no place for honor, no place for mercy. The Game of Thrones is won by being the most atrocious you can possibly be. And guess what? Daemon, he's the dragon. The real last dragon. So no, there is no line Daemon won't cross because he literally does not give a damn. But he doesn't give a damn because he knows what's at stake. Not just his life, but the lives of his daughters, his wife, his sons, anyone he cares about. But also his house. Look what happened to House Stark when Ned Stark was killed. The House of the Dragon has been usurped by Hightowers, and while Aemon, Aegon, Helena, and Daeron are Targaryens, they are in service to House Hightower. They were raised by Otto and Alicent. Daemon never had a relationship with them, and it's likely because he sees them as mini Ottos. And it's sad because I feel bad for Aemon, because Aemon looks at Daemon like with lusty eyes. Like, dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. And the non-existent relationship with them does make Daemon look kind of cold. But I'm sure it's not one-sided. I'm sure Otto and Alicent poisoned them against Daemon anyway. In season 1, Daemon also caught flack for not loving Laena and being a bad dad to Rhaenyra. And people were like, oh my God, comfort your daughters. They cut the scene. They didn't find it important. Daemon loved Laena. He loved his daughters. He was content in Essos. But another thing that family dynamic that Daemon had going on in Essos brought to light is what Laena said Daemon was reading about.
Spend your time here, in the library, reading accounts of the same dead dragonlords whose legacy you claim has no hold on you.
Laena said that Daemon was reading the history of House Targaryen, and the history of House Targaryen is dark. They were conquerors that built cities with fire and blood. Daemon cares about this legacy. The House of the Dragon has stood strong due to this legacy, due to the fact that people fear them. They fear them. And Daemon knows it. He embraces exactly what he is. Blood of the Dragon, it's war. There is no moral high ground. Stop looking for it. You will not find it here. Daemon's issues with Rhaenyra are the same issues that he had with Viserys. If Daenerys was in the story, he'd have the same issue with her. They aren't willing to do what he thinks needs to be done to win the Game of Thrones. The sentiment is self-explanatory. Be a dragon. You are a dragon. Their ancestors were, and they never lost. The Valyrians made Essos burn and bleed for years and built a freehold that has never been rivaled. Aegon the Conqueror burned Harren the Black in his castle, extinguishing his entire line. And Daemon would do the same if it's up to him. But he's not doing this to be king. He's not just doing this to fulfill his brother's wishes or to honor him. While all those things he may think about. He may think about those things. His true motivation right now is revenge and the safety of himself and his family. He knows exactly what's at stake here. He's proven his prowess in battle, and he's not to be trifled with. However, when Daemon is with the Nettles and in the Riverlands, something changes him. His story does end up in a mysterious, selfless act. And if you've never watched my Daemon's secret video about the Green Seers and the Isle of Faces, now's the time. Daemon is selfish. Daemon consorts with cutthroats and hangs in brothels. Yes, Daemon is violent. Yes, Daemon is angry. Yes, Daemon wants revenge. Yes, Daemon would slaughter every one of the Greens if given the opportunity. But does that make him evil? Does that make him a villain? No, because if the Greens are allowed to take power uncontested, they would put Daemon, Rhaenyra, and their children to the sword. So yes, Daemon, by any means necessary, win the game, because if you don't, you die. However, I do also want to add, I do feel that Daemon is completely justified to feel the way he does about Sir Otto and House Hightower and anyone related to him or advancing his plots and schemes. Especially when you look at the past history between Old Town and House Targaryen and how history is repeating. So is he wrong? I guess it depends on what side you're on. He will do awful things, he will do vile things, and he will still be one of the heroes of this story. He doesn't believe in prophecy or portents, but I think he will learn in the Riverland that what they are fighting for is more than the throne. It's Aegon's dream and the salvation of the world. What a weight to bear. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on Daemon? Do you like him? Do you not like him? Are you like indifferent? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who supports me. Okay, my sweet summer children. Have a good day.